Hi there! In this video, we are going to create a slideshow application using React and Rendley SDK. It will play several videos one after another with some GLSL transitions applied between them. The final video will be rendered directly in the browser without needing a server. But shortly about Rendley SDK, it's a video editing SDK that handles all the complexities of video editing. It provides a simple-to-use API that you can use to create video apps. With that being said, let's get started. I have here a sample project created with React, Tailwind CSS, and TypeScript. I'm going to quickly clean up the app.tsx file, and now we can begin setting up the layout. Let's set a maximum width for the content and align it vertically to the center. Next up, we need to add a canvas element so that the SDK could be initialized and draw our changes onto it. Let's also store the canvas element into a useref so that we could access it later on. Now it's a good time to initialize the SDK. Let's create a useEffect hook that calls an init function. Inside the init, we'll do all the necessary checks, and we'll also initialize the SDK, and we'll create the slideshow project. Rendley's SDK engine is a singleton, meaning that we have to get its instance first in order to initialize. Let's call engine.getInstance, where engine is imported from Rendley SDK. And we can now call engine.init, passing all the parameters we need. For our use case, we are going to create a 9x16 video with a black background. The view property is actually the canvas element. You can already see that the canvas got really big. And to fix that, let's add some custom styles. For instance, let's make the canvas width 100% and height auto. Next up, we are going to upload all the videos into the library, which is like a place for storing all the media assets. I'm going to do that using promise.all to upload them in parallel. And I have here a list of videos from Pexels with cute dogs. You're probably wondering why the videos are not displayed on the canvas yet. And the reason is because the videos are not added to the timeline. In order to add the uploaded videos to the timeline, we have to create a layer using the createLayer function. And once that's done, we can loop over the uploaded videos and add them one by one to the layer. The reason we're still not seeing the videos on the canvas is because we haven't enabled shared array buffer. To enable this, we have to add a few extra headers to our vid server, specifically the course origin embedded policy headers, which are the opener policy, it should be same origin, and the embedded policy should be require corp or credentialless. And once we add these headers, we can see instantly that the videos load on the canvas. Now, let's add a play button to the layout to play the composition we've just created. When clicked, this button should call the play method from the engine instance, and the SDK will take care of the rest. I'd like us to go one step further and get to know the playing status directly from the SDK, so that we can display a pause button and react accordingly to it. To do so, let's leverage one of the systems that the SDK has in place, the event system. So by default, the SDK emits a series of events, as you can see here, and we are only interested in the playing one. The received payload contains a isPlaying value, representing the playing status of the composition. We can store this value into a useState and display it accordingly in the UI. For instance, if the status is playing, then we can display a pause button, and if it's paused, then we can display a play button. Let's update the toggle play function as well. So if the composition is playing, then pause it. You can see now that pressing the play button plays the composition and pause pauses it. The composition is quite boring at the moment. It just plays a few videos in a sequence and nothing more. So let's add transitions in between. First, let's get the clips IDs of all the clips added to the current layer. Next up, we are going to loop through all of them just before the last one. The transitions are added at the layer level. So to add one, call layer.addTransition. You have to pass start clip ID, which represents where the transition should start, and an end clip ID, representing the clip in which the transition should end. As well, in and out duration, representing the time in seconds of how much time should the transition take. You should also pass a name for the transition and the actual GLSL code for it. In our case, here's the GLSL for a crossfade transition. This is how easy it is to apply transitions. There is one last button we should probably add, and it's the export button to render the final composition into a video. When clicked, this button should call the export method from the SDK, which returns a blob file as a result. We can then transform the blob into a blob URL, which gives us the opportunity to open the rendered file in the browser, and we can actually add a few more lines of code to automatically download the resulted file. There is one more step you should take before rendering the video, and it is adding a license key to the SDK's initialization. You can get one for free at app.rendly.com, and here's how you add it. And finally, pressing the export button will render the final video and it will save it to your computer. If you want to see more videos like this ones, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Bye.